Okay, so good evening to everyone. Good morning, wherever you are joining from. Good afternoon, wherever you're joining from. And so you're welcome. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Today's webinar is about personal discovery, and later on, we'll have another session that I will introduce when the time comes. First of all, my name is Abel Wilson Walekhwa, and I'm a founder for African Center for Career Mentorship. And so African Center for Career Mentorship is an NGO that is registered in Uganda, and the interest is to support younger professionals or youth discover their full potential for success. And so part of the webinars will be along those lines, to help you discover your full potential for success. So on the team, I have my staffs that I work with, but also part of the work that we do is to support postgraduate students that are aiming at advancing their studies. So we support them in terms of reviewing their personal statements, helping them align their CVs, but also we have a project which is a 12-year coaching program, which we initiated in August, and we do the coaching for 12 months. So in other words, from the process of applying, from the process of preparing for interviews, to the time when you join wherever you will have been admitted or got funding to go. So that's just a quick brief about African Center for Career Mentorship. So today we are going to talk about personal discovery. And so personal discovery is very important. It's good for you to know who exactly you are. It's good to know your potential. It's good to know your strength. It's good to know the areas you're strong or the areas that you do well. It's good to know the areas that you need help. It's good to know the areas that you can leverage on as you address other areas that you're not doing well. So it means that even when you're writing your personal statements or your motivation letters or your applications, there should be some areas that should market you, but also there are areas that you should clearly say, I need help in this area and in the other area. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So for us to do that, I have a very short video, which I want us to watch for a minute, and not a minute, but for a few minutes. And then I will dive into my presentation. And so you're welcome, and enjoy the video. It's going to be for a very short time, then I will come in with my short presentation for part one, which is about discovering your purpose. Now, this short video is a summary of a book, which I highly recommend us to look for. It says 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Jim Collins. It's good for you to be effective, but for you to be effective, you need to discover who exactly you are. You need to introduce yourself in a very short time, such that people can know, or you can explain to another person who exactly you are. But let's play this short video as we learn together.
People by Stephen Covey. Now, this book has touched millions. There are literally thousands of success books out there, so why should this one be any different? Well, Stephen researched the last 200 years of success literature and found something quite interesting. In the last 50 years, most of the books have been focused on the personality ethic, things like public image, how you dress, how you perform in social interactions, positive mental attitude, skills and techniques to get people to behave in certain ways. These books focus on how to appear rather than how to actually be. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People takes an inside-out approach. It focuses on the character ethic rather than the personality ethic. In the words of Stephen Covey, almost all the literature in the first 150 years or so focused on what could be called the character ethic as the foundation for success. Things like integrity, humility, temperance, courage, and justice, patience, industry, simplicity, modesty, and the golden rule. The character ethic taught that there are basic principles of effective living.
Do you feel swamped with tedious assignments? Lucky for you, there's a state-of-the-art
Of effective living, and that people can only experience true success and enduring happiness as they learn and integrate these principles into their basic character. You know, greatness starts from the inside out. Of course, there is a place for personality ethic, but character forms the foundation. Personality ethics need to be rooted in character. The personality ethic can be seen as fake, or as a fake until you make it image if it's not rooted in character. Sometimes people apply these personality techniques in order to use and manipulate people to meet their own goals and agendas. In the long run, people will eventually see through this duplicity. But you can't fake character ethic. If you're still a little fuzzy on this concept, picture an iceberg, right? The personality ethic is above the water. The character ethic is below the water. It forms a foundation. It's where the greatest impact over the long term is. It's where you sow the seeds of greatness. The problem is that people don't focus on the foundation. They focus on the appearance. They're looking for shortcuts and quick fixes, but there are no shortcuts. There is no quick fix program. But if you endure and apply the following habits, you will absolutely achieve your goals, and it will help you develop better relationships. A bit of a long intro there, but necessary to understand the principles this book is based on. So let's jump into the 7 habits. Habit 1 is be proactive. Let's look at something called the circle of concern and the circle of influence. The circle of concern consists of all the things that are out of your control, like the weather, politics, what people think of you, the economy, other people's mistakes, and other people's opinions. The circle of influence consists of all the things you can control, your attitude, what you read, what skills you learn, your enthusiasm, how you spend your free time and who you spend it with, your habits and hobbies, and so on. With that said, there are 2 ways to live life. You can either be reactive or proactive. Reactive people complain about the things that are out of their control. Their environment and outside forces affect their performance and their mood. Additionally, they don't take action or ownership of the things that they can control. And then you have the other type of person. They are proactive. This type of person realizes that their decisions determine their life, not their conditions. Proactive people don't complain about things they can't control. Additionally, they take action to improve the things that they can control. Proactive people understand that sometimes we may not have complete control over a certain situation, but we can control how we respond to a situation. So let's look at an example of how a proactive and a reactive person responds to the same situation. 2 people take a test and then they both fail. One blames the teacher and gives up. The other takes responsibility and ownership, studies harder, and tries to improve themselves. The reactive person complains about how bad the teacher is, and the proactive person asks, "What can I do?" They look at themselves first instead of blaming and complaining. Don't focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control. Take responsibility, and keep in mind, as you become more proactive within your circle of influence, it grows bigger. You bring more power into your life. Even if you only implement 1 habit out of these 7 habits I'm going to go over, make it this one. This one alone can have a huge impact on your life. In life, you either act or you're acted upon. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. All things are created twice. The first time it's created is in your mind, and the second time is in the real world. So let's look at how it's created in the mind first. To get where you want to go in life, you need to have a map. You need to determine your life goals, your destination, and you also need a plan on how to get there. Otherwise, you're just aimlessly wandering around in life. So where do you want to go in life? Have you sat down and clearly defined the type of life you want? Do you know where you want to be in 5, 10, or 15 years from now? If not, then you're wandering around aimlessly at the whims of everyone else. Let me put it another way. Picture your life like a ladder. You're climbing up the ladder of life, working hard, doing the right things, and making progress up the ladder month by month, year by year. Then as you get toward the top of the ladder, you suddenly realize the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall the whole time. A lot of people live their lives like this. They don't have a vision for their life. They don't have what Stephen calls a personal mission statement. You need to make a conscious effort of where you want to end up, who are the people who control your life, and where you end up going. This is why this habit is so important. You need to figure out your destination first and then work towards it. If you're not really clear on what your purpose is, then think about the end of your life. How do you want to be remembered? Why do you want to be remembered for that? Find your purpose and make sure it has a strong why behind it. Not something like having a lot of money, but something that you have a real passion for. You aren't put here to make money, buy stuff, and then die. You have something to contribute to the world. You can add value. So find out what that is. Instead of asking what life has to offer you, ask what you can offer life. So take the time to think about your purpose, think about your values, and write them down. Your personal mission statement can be as simple as Will Smith, which is, I want the world to be better because I was here. Very simple. And what you do is you keep this mission statement at the forefront of your mind. And whenever you make a decision, you see if it's in alignment with that mission statement. This will keep you on track. Go crazy, create your ideal life and your legacy. It can be whatever you want. Dream big and don't hold yourself back. Most of the time, the thing that holds us back is ourselves. So don't let self-doubt get in the way. Realize that anything is possible. So define how you want your life to be right now. Don't let the past or anything else hold you back. You write the script to your life, no one else. You are the programmer. All right, habit 3 is to put first thing.
Great. And so welcome back from the very short video. I got interested in that video and I felt I should share with you because it asks very intriguing questions. It asks about where exactly are you heading? Because if you are going to be effective in whatever you do, you need to begin with the end in mind. So where are you heading? So colleagues, I welcome you to our session again, which is personal discovery. There are members who joined when we had already started. And so I request that you mute yourself. I'm going to give you a chance to ask questions as we go along. So these are our details. You're welcome to contact us whenever you want to work with us or to seek our services. We are happy to serve you and work with you. So having listened to that very brief story, I want us to challenge ourselves. I want us to get a notebook right now and a pen. And I want us to jot down what our strengths are. And I want you to look at yourself as an individual. What exactly are your strengths? And so I'll give you 1 minute or 2 for you to write down your strengths. And I'm looking at you as an individual. Then you will follow on with the weaknesses that you think you as an individual, there are areas you need to improve. We know that no one is perfect, and therefore we should be deliberate. We should be deliberate in identifying the areas we need to be supported in. So please get a notebook and get a pen and jot down your strengths. And those are internal factors within you. Is it that you have gone to school? Is it that you are able to read and write? Is it that you are proactive? Is it that you know multiple languages? What are your strengths as an individual? And then we'll go to your weaknesses, but also which opportunity do you see around yourself? And those are external factors that you think you can leverage on to succeed in life. In the very near future, we'll talk about a definition of success and how you can measure your success. But for today, let's focus on our SWOT analysis. So I'll give you 1 minute or 2 for you to jot down those. And later on, I'll pick 2 or 3 members to share their strengths and their weaknesses or areas for improvement and opportunities, and then threats. Please be intentional and write them down. Just for information that if you can write this down, you will be able to articulate this when you are either making a job application or when you're making a scholarship application. You'll be able to say, you know what, I'm strong here, I'm strong here. Even when you contact your supervisors or potential supervisors, you are very clear on what you are bringing on table when you contact them. I will assume that you've had time to jot down this, and this can continue as we go forward. Now, still on the same notebook, on the next page or next 2 pages, I want us to write answers to these questions. I call this 4W framework. 4W framework. So I ask 4 questions that for me were very impactful because I was able to articulate them. So let's answer the first question. And the first question is there. Whom do you want to be by 2040? And those are around 17 years from now. Do you want to be a banker manager working with maybe African Development Bank? Do you want to be working with World Bank? And as which position? And try to put other factors constant. In other words, don't limit yourself. Think big and be ambitious. Be very ambitious. So that's our first question. I'll give you a minute for you to jot down who exactly you want to be by 2040. I will take you to the next question. Again, you may write the questions or you may just write answers. I'll be curious to hear from you where exactly you want to be around 17 years from now. The purpose of visualizing where you're heading is that once you have the end in mind, you begin the journey when you know where you're heading. In many things that we shall be engaging in, including job applications, including going for further studies, including going for conferences or attending conferences, is just a methodology contributing to where we are heading. It is just like a bus or a train carrying us and taking us somewhere. But you need to know where you're heading before that bus or train can take you in the right place. Otherwise, you get lost along the way. So the issue is not to pick up on which course or which scholarship or which fellowship to go for. The issue is to first define where you're heading. So the second question is, where exactly do you want to be working? What do you want to be doing? Where do you want to be supporting? Is it Ministry of Health? Is it Uganda Revenue Authority? Is it World Bank? Remember, in Jim Collins' book, habit number 2 is beginning with the end in mind. So question number 3 is there. What exact skills do you need for you to do that job that you have written in question 1? What exact skills? And you can write them down. I'll give you 2 minutes for you to jot that down. And then our 4th question is there. What courses or fellowships or trainings will you need to be prepared for this particular task or job? So in other words, once you know where you're heading, once you know where you want to be, you will now begin preempting what skills you need to get there. And you'll begin preempting what courses or what fellowships that can help you get those skills. And for me, that is what I call the 4W framework. So please scribble them down, write them down. They will help you a lot, because they help you now know which courses to go for, which fellowships to go for, what trainings that you actually need. You may not need all. And if you've jotted that down, that is very powerful, and I congratulate you, because now you have taken the first step in discovering who exactly you are. But also you've begun the journey of discovering where you are heading as far as career progression or life progression is concerned, because now you have an idea where exactly you're heading. And again, that alone is to discover who exactly you are, but we can proceed, and I want us to proceed to add there another section, which is called strategies. What strategies are you going to put in place for you to achieve or for you to reach where you want to go? Will you go for maybe online courses? Will you open up a business? Will you begin a non-government organization? Will you begin to volunteer in an organization? All of those are strategies to take you to where you want to go. And so I want to stop it at this in our first set, in our first section, which is personal discovery. Again, this is the beginning. You can continue visualizing, or you can continue articulating these questions more, even after the webinar. You can have time with your mentor, if you have one, to try to go deeper into these questions. Today alone, you may not have all the answers with you, but at least you've begun the process. And again, I am available for us to have more in-depth conversation as per those contacts, if you think we can have more time to articulate more or to think through more of what you have written. But I highly recommend that you have time with your mentor, such that you can have a conversation that, okay, this is what I'm thinking, and this is where I am seeing life going. So I want to thank you so much. This is the end of our first section, which is part 1.